together,
yeah,
you know, might not be your
positive.
first pick, but you'll take us.
Yeah, I mean, look, you gotta take whichever you can right now. It's very early in the morning. Well, not as early in Central Europe, but we are going to jump straight into picks and bans. PSG on the blue, BDS on the red. And I'm curious right now because this is kind of a matchup where we're kind of saying like PSG have kind of just looked good, whereas BDS have been ramping up bit by bit.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting play, and so far you see the value of double Elim, the fact that BDS had a bit of a weak start day one. They've bounced back. Their first series that they won against DFM, it wasn't super convincing. It was slow and steady, and they weren't making super proactive plays. They seemed happy to just scale and win. And then yesterday, they were starting Barons. They were 4v5, and they were going ham. So I really like them gaining confidence here, now going up against PSG, one of the teams you would probably have expected as kind of a matchup to get out of play-ins as a perennial powerhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people's pick'ems are going to be very upset with this particular matchup. I think a lot of people would have said BDS and PSG to get out. But with all the bans coming in, one tree was banned, one shall be received. Therefore, they get the Maokai on the side of PSG. It opens up a pretty big kind of hole right now, because if I know something from PSG, Maple on Jace is kind of disgusting.
He played a ton of Jace in the regular season of summer. He and Maokai can combo together. We saw it even yesterday, though it did not win the series against BDS. You saw how powerful it was against them. Almost able to take that one down. There was a lot of snipes on the Crownie, so we'll see if they can combo that Jace. Of course, neither Nuke or Adam are really Jace aficionados, so probably not going to try and pick it away and separate that duo, and instead going for the Sejuani, which is what they played last time in the Maokai.
Yeah, it seems to be the kind of Sheo specialty right now. I know when I was casting the last series of BDS with Dagda, it is a kind of a little bit of a kind of sore spot, the jungle pool for Sheo. It's kind of like, right, if he doesn't get Maokai, if he doesn't get Sejuani, where does he really go?
Ivern,
yeah, the Ivern unfortunately found a way as well. But Rakan has been a huge pick as well, so that's going to be going over to the side of Labrov. Honestly, it's such a blindable support that you can put it with almost any matchup. And the Zaya off the board, it means that any AD carry can really go there either. But for PSG, I was going to say, they're going to probably lock in their solo lanes here. I don't think you want to leave open the Jace this low and going on. So you get the Kennen, you get the Jace, you lock in your top side, and that is scary as all hell.
I kind of like the early Kennen at first. My initial reaction is, why are you picking this so early blind? But knowing Adam's champion pool, most of them are not great.
Could you name it off for me if that's possible?
Dogs, Darian, Darius, Olaf, Karen, Set. No, we're still waiting for the O in Olaf. We'll see if he ends up playing it here, but most likely not into Kennen. I mean, at 6, maybe you can all in, but otherwise getting there is going to be pretty difficult. So we'll see when he wants to go there. Nuke going to tried and true Azir. Absolutely huge pick for him yesterday. There was a game where they were controlling 99% of that game, almost lost the entire thing, but Nuke was able to save it with his good Azir play.
Yeah, I mean, the good Azir play, and also the legacy of Shurima Tower killing off the Kaisa right before they literally nearly ended the game. So, you know, it's all mechanics. It's all part of the skill of the game. But now we're going to see a lot of focus coming out from BDS, just throwing in those support bans, making sure the Rakan has a good time. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Nautilus ban, just something that can deal with that kind of front-load and engage. And then for the side of PSG, honestly, just start banning away maybe even top laners or even AD carries, to be perfectly honest. Just take away things that can maybe kind of burn down a lot of what you're trying to go for here on this basically dive comp.
I like the respect Kalista ban, something that people had not had on Crownie's radar until yesterday, and then they saw it and they go, that looked bad.
That's a beep.
That was scary. We're going to ban that one out. So yes, getting the respect ban after one game on the Kalista. We'll see if he ends up going back onto Ezreal. Ezreal's here is a pretty common combination, but didn't love the early Crownie Ezreal, but maybe again that was that day one nerves where the team was not playing well as a whole. We'll see if he goes back to it here, looking like it based off these bans right now.
And that's the thing, Crownie has been, when he's been given an AD carry that can have agency, that can kind of go forward aggressive, have their own kind of self-kiting tools like the Zaya, which we saw yesterday, or sorry, the day before, that is the kind of Crownie that we do expect to kind of be able to pop off. When he is on something that's a little bit more safe, quote-unquote, on the Ezreal, that's kind of looking to more kind of poke things down before going aggressive, it's not as impactful, shall we say, but the last ban going to be that Renekton coming in here. So BDS, they're probably going to pick up an AD carry, leave Adam for that counter pick, and I mean, then PSG, they're kind of just going to bring it all back. I mean, the Kaisa, for me, in a lot of senses for PSG, would work very well here.
Yeah, you would think with one of the S-tier AD carries banned, you just go to the other one, but we haven't seen a ton of Crownie Kaisa actually so far, so might be a champion that he doesn't really want to play, generally speaking. And I will say, in the current composition, there's not a ton of dive to combo with, and you know, Kaisa technically slots in anything, but she's absolutely at her best when there's other dive buddies that you're going into, and right now that's not how their comp is looking to function. It looks like a lot more front to back, and the Scion blind is definitely leaning more into stable front line, front to back DPS.
Yeah, the gods. You gotta add the S, the S at the end.
Slurring a little bit.
Yeah, just a little tired. You know, because you've heard it so much.
And Sion also gameplay, putting you to sleep.
Straight up, honestly. But, well, we'll see now the Alistar locked in here, so it's kind of adding into that kind of front-loaded engage. You're going to go in with the Alistar, maybe even have a flank with a Kennen, and just kind of come in from all sides. The kind of AoE advantages you have with these ultimates from PSG is kind of nuts right now, and see what they want to try and put in. The Kai'Sa would make a lot of sense here for them as well, just to kind of, again, just add in someone who can just all in and just try and blow up a character.
Yeah, I think Kai'Sa and Jace combo together well because both have long-range skill shots that you can land and chunk people up at the start of fights, but Jace with Duskblade going hammer form, assassinating someone and using that intangibility to run out is often a really good combination that Kai'Sa can also follow up on, and we see the Zeri locked in after a continual round of nerfs still pops into the meta here and there, and makes some sense, like we said, playing more front to back in this team composition, not wanting to lean on the Ezreal as much here because Kai'Sa can have a fun time against Ezreal if you ever get ahead, especially if you're going the lethality build and you're just pouncing on the Ezreal over and over again. So instead they go Zeri.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like for BDS, the longer these fights go on, you've things like a Zeri and a Nazir, just and a great front line, you will start to kind of burn through these health bars very, very quickly. They can just survive that first kind of initial attack from PSG. PSG kind of run out of options very, very quickly. They'll need to kind of almost reset the fight, kind of back away, and then come back at the fight from a slightly different angle. Unless BDS can kind of, you know, basically make a big mistake there, I don't really see how PSG can really kind of get around that.
No, I mean, you basically either poke out at the start so that BDS can't walk forward, or like you were just saying there. And so, very interesting game one. Is a best of 5 here for the first time, obviously previous series as well, but it was rest of best of 3s until play-ins until now. So the advancement matchup to see who goes to Swiss stage will be decided here, and both teams opting more standard, get a feel, see how the enemy team's playing before you make your bigger adjustments in game 2.
Absolutely, and look, which is stronger, LEC's 4th seed performance at Worlds or BDS in a lower bracket kind of run? That's the kind of question we got to come out of here right now, because this is something that is going to be very much watched by a lot of different people. I think a lot of spectators expecting both these teams to make it. Now only one can, so you got to put your best foot forward. You got to start off the way you want to carry on, and for BDS, they have to make sure they hit the ground running.
Yeah, big redemption available here for the European 4th seed as a whole. It's had some struggles with Mad Lions in the past, and day one was scary, but they have rallied and looked a lot better. They also knocked out Golden Guardian, so some successes thus far, but of course you are playing hopefully for the Swiss stage, and they have a tough opponent in PSG who is almost always there as one of the powerhouses, like we were saying.
And PSG, that's the thing, is like BDS is the 4th seed from LEC. 4 seeds for LEC in Worlds Swiss stage would be nice, but this is PCS's only seed left. This is the only thing they have to really kind of continue on with the tournament. So the VCS already got their seed in. They were guaranteed after the way the bracket went. So PCS, they don't want to fall down as a, you know, kind of a play-in region that's not able to send their first seed off to the grander stage.
Yeah, and I think relying on Maple, who has come back to the PCS after that stint on TSM in North America, instantly back on the world stage, joining the #1 seed with PSG, and helping guide them. I think you've seen a lot of Maple's strengths on a team that can function and follow his leadership. They showed that graphic. 110 games of Worlds. 9th most.
I believe
maybe moved up to 8th.
Yes.
We'll have to check if it's going to go up any more through play-ins here. But very, very impressive leadership out of him and helping lead this team through a difficult play-ins.
Yeah, for BDS, they're kind of these players are looking to make that kind of legacy for themselves. They're very, very green.
Most single digits.
Yeah, literally almost all single digits, if not at the start of this 0. And I mean, for people like Crowny and even Adam and stuff like that, it's kind of been a stage they've been looking to get on for so long. Obviously, Adam had done it before, but it just feels like this is the team they need to try and perform on. And for Crowny especially, it just feels like it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how much Adam can do on this Sion pick. I did call it boring. However, there is the other school of thought, the Baus school of thought, made in Europe. And we'll have to see if Adam wants to go for some annoying proxy farming, dying 10 times, ulting down lanes left and right. And it does actually kind of match up with the way that Adam somewhat plays the game, where he is more roam focused, more willing to take aggressive plays, and try and have a big influence on the map. And Sion can't do that quite well.
Boss standard, made in Europe or find in Korea.
I don't know if they appreciated it.
I don't know exactly how they feel about it, but Sheo, full clear on the top side, now looking to see if he can maybe make something happen here. But he was in a bit of a bad spot for Maple. You can see he really wants to try and just kind of get this one going, but right now just very, very aware that I don't know exactly where this Sejuani is, and Sheo was very, very patient for the moment. We'll see him now finally revealed. Gonna see flash for flash. Nicely done there by Sheo. Always worth trading your flash for the mid laner's flash.
Yeah, relieve some pressure, limit what Maple can do in the early game, and then just continue your clear onto the bot side of the map. Sheo already getting involved, and this is an interesting game to think about what each team's game plan is early on. I don't think there's one lane that you're necessarily trying to snowball. You, as PSG, probably want to get some wards out, isolate Asha so you can just keep pushing and add him over and over again, get some chip damage down that turret. And for Sheo, you can technically go to almost any lane at 6 especially. They'll all have setup, but there's not a single one where you have some game plan where it's like, we got to hold down this or save this lane. It's just, if we can get a Zero head, nice, or Zeri or whatever, but you don't have that many winning lanes naturally. It's a pretty even early game.
And the thing as well with BDS and how they've played so far this play-ins, it has been, you know, up until the last series, very reserved, very kind of calm, cool, collected. Don't need to go for anything too crazy right off the bat. But, I mean, this composition is perfect for that. The Sion will keep infinitely stacking. The Azir is a late-game god, as we all know. And the Zeri is doing Zeri things, pew-pew. And this is kind of the way you're going to go for it. But now Sheo looking for a re-gank here into this mid lane. Maple, yeah, he's going to have the Hex Flash jumped on top of him. They will get the knock up and the CC down. The first blood goes over to the Rakan, and BDS are on the board.
Labrov and Sheo comboing together again. They were fantastic yesterday as well, working together to make a play happen. Sheo burning that flash early and instantly the repeat gank to punish it. On the reset that came in, Labrov just showing up after clearing a ward bot lane instead of going back there, actually continues up to mid lane, linking up and making that play happen. And here Adam, very aware that Junji is right there.
Yeah, very aware, and you can see him just kind of constantly just staying closer to his towers. There's no real chance of a CC. Chain coming in. Now Junji's going to realize, oh, I'm caught between a hog and a very large man, but going to be able to walk out without any real problems right there. Adam, very respectful, knowing that his wave was pushing away from him, so he needed to try and just back away so he didn't get caught.
Yeah, it's still slightly annoying for Adam, the fact that he couldn't get the wave in. Asha can kind of freeze it here. Junji is hanging around, making it annoying. We'll see if they can actually turn this kill. It will be difficult with Adam having his flash available.
Yeah, I don't really see them kind of going for this one right now, but Asha's going to be able to kind of freeze this very, very effectively, and this is where the matchup really starts to become difficult for the Sion. And yes, he won't die, but he won't exactly be thriving either.
No, you are a low econ tank jungler. You know, you take your money, stash it in the
put it in your
pillowcase. Yeah, you're not. There's no investments coming long term for him. He is going to be holding on as best he can. And I think it does put more pressure on Crownie and Nuke in these situations then, because I think Adam has been one of the most impactful top laners thus far in a meta where I think top laners have had a good showing in terms of impact. Nice combo. That's from it.
Nice.
But yeah, I think you've seen Renekton's take over games. We've seen Rest with his Aatrox having good showings, even though they didn't win that game. You've seen that this is a pretty good meta for top laners if you're in one of the more bruiser champions to take over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Adam, I think a lot of people were expecting Adam to kind of obviously, you know, continue with those bruisers. A little bit of a slightly different look here with the Sion low econ tank in the top side, but we'll see if it has the same kind of impact. Again, Sions have been throughout the meta just one of those picks that you can always go back to, you can always rely on as the worlds and metas change, because it's just that reliable. That decimating smash is so good, just keeping the wave nice and trimmed down.
Yeah, and even when he doesn't have the best itemization in the world, like you said, just so much in the kit that allows you to scale up and be a front line. And I know there's a question of how good tanks will be. Currently, it does feel like they are behind some of the bruisers and carries, but if it looks like a good angle for it, you can always make it work. And on the flip side for PSG, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Wako. He's someone who I loved watching at MSI this year. He is incredible, and I want to see them get a little bit aggressive here soon. Start when the sixes come in. Hopefully find some plays with Junji and not just seed everything, because this is what we kind of saw at a CFO, and BDS was very happy to punish it. And it's something that I feel like is sometimes a detriment to the PCS region, where they are just too happy to sit back, scale, not contest objectives, not really go for anything. And then it's third dragon, you're 4K down, you're on soul point for the entire rest of the game.
Yeah, and you then have to fight every single moment of every single objective because there's nothing you can really do. And now you can see with Wako, knowing that the dragon just went down, he's going to have to play so respectfully because he doesn't have support. And that means a free turret plate goes over to the bot lane. Crownie going to drop down a ward as well to make sure he doesn't get caught out by Woody. But I mean, right now it's pretty solid here from the side of BDS. The difference in the gold is literally the kill. That is it, and that dragon now as well. But nice combo. Not really going to lead to much else, you would imagine. Maokai is coming, but knows he's on a ward, so no Nature's Grasp to really make this one happen. I will say Labrov going to bring the Maokai back over the wall. The Bramble Smash should just be able to kind of deter any other engages. But yeah, I mean, PSG, I mean, they looked for something, but I don't think it was there. I don't think it was ever there.
No, just you land a combo, you see where it goes, and you don't want to flash, you don't want to burn any ultimates, so you just take it and go. And again, the scaling continues. I think from a scaling perspective, PSG is fine. Wako and Maple are obviously going to be fine. We saw exactly how good that can go. With Jimmy in yesterday, his Jace was incredible. Kennen will always be a threat to squishy backline members if you can find good flanks. But BDS is a very, very good team around objectives. They're willing to have a proper setup, start them, force you into them. And again, we'll have to see if PSG ever wants to get aggressive prior to that. It is still only 8 minutes, and here they are starting off their own objective.
We had a little chat before we came online, obviously, in the green room, and we were saying, you know what? If this first game starts like that last game from GAM and Team Wales, we'd be very happy. I think it was like 27 kills in 22 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting that, Mark.
No.
I don't think so. I think slow and steady, sadly, does win the race for either of these teams.
We're about to start talking about all the rotatos going on. Oh, wow, yeah, the bot side.
You're in Ireland. You like potatoes.
Oh, yeah, the crossovers there.
There you go, man. The crossover
the
we never knew.
Crossover.
We never knew we needed, and you know what? We probably still don't.
We thought about it, reviewed it. Shut down. No, thank you.
BD came back and said it's a no. But I mean, yeah. I mean, for BDS, you're scaling. We've talked about that many, many times. But I feel like it is going to come down to that first big fight, potentially around this next dragon in 3 minutes, because you're going to have access to all those ultimates. You're going to have the slicing maelstrom and things that can just kind of close in on top of people on BDS. And on the other side of it, BDS are going to have so much time to kind of keep everyone at arm's length. This could be the big moment that kind of breaks this game wide open, or like most of the time in these kind of series, I could be completely wrong and nothing will happen.
Yeah, maybe PSG will sack it, cross map, go to the strong side where they have the Kennen, get some plates down instead. Yeah. Maybe we'll just have no conflict. PvE game mode. Whoever farms best wins. They just agree at 30 minutes. Whoever has more CS.
The 1v1 All-Stars, like first to 100 wins.
Oh no, the Caitlyn mirrors are just farming. No.
Not the best.
Cool idea, execution.
They definitely should have banned certain things, just like holistically. It's like, these are not allowed.
Gamers are very sweaty, and they will find the optimal way to play, regardless of how interesting it is for viewers.
It's a fun game mode. No, it is not. It is Caitlyn farming. All-Stars is a fun event sometimes. I like the tandem mode. That was fun.
Yeah, the arena?
Yeah. I like that kind of 2v2 kind of setup. Hopefully we get it back soon. That was probably the best game mode we had since ARAMs got introduced.
I'm still spamming ARAMs to this day. Yeah. Me and Dracos did not have a good day yesterday on the Rift.
the ARAM MMR has gone down
dramatically.
Dramatically dropped on our ARAM MMR, but we'll see now what's actually going to happen here. 1 minute 20 into that dragon. It looks like PSG not willing to sack the side lanes just yet. I'm going to try and put down some pressure here in the mid lane. Shelly will get her charge off, doing her favorite thing in the world, which is bonking her head against large buildings. And yeah, I mean, they're just trading it. Crowny's just untouched here on the bot side, so I mean, this is just kind of how the game's going to go. We might see it engage at this dragon because there's decent war control from PSG, but I feel like they're just going to back away and just try and, just posture around, lose this vision, and force me for themselves.
Yeah, a little surprising to see Sheo decide to go in there and trade ult for ult on the Alistar. It will make engaging on Alistar a lot riskier if you are going to get there first and have your vision set up, and Alistar is one of your primary engage tools. It's kind of nice to force that one out. As this dragon will be spawning, it won't have it available. The question is, do PSG even contest? I like trying to break Maple out of mid lane, funnel some gold into him if you can make it a little bit riskier for Nuke to potentially try and wave clear if you can break that turret, but still 3 plates up. And then the flip side, I like BDS's response of kind of just ignoring it, letting it happen, and Crowny getting his own plates on the flip side of the map.
The big thing is now we're going to see, Just Blade has just been finished up for Maple there. You've got first items onto the AD carries for the moment. TP will be available for Aja in a couple of seconds. This is setting up for a decent spot here for PSG if they want to try and contest and take this dragon.
Yeah, we'll see if Aja can get his recall off and finish a Mythic. That would be huge to get this dragon contest more in their favor. You can see them already working down some of the wards here to try and find him a TP angle.
Oh, TP's going to be coming in. That's Nuke on the bot side, just trying to keep himself separated away from Junja and Maple. There is another TP ward there, pink just behind the red buff, so that could be a place for Adam to look for a bit of a flank. You can see now the Dragon going down very, very closely, and they're going to try and push them off. TP from the Kennen coming in. They've already caught out the Dragon and taken out the Sejuani. They're trying to turn back in. A slicing Maelstrom lands onto quite a few members. Can they finish them off? That is the question. The Scion's a beefy boy, but not that beefy at this early stage. 1 for none, the Dragon goes to PSG, and they felt comfortable, and they got themselves the win.
A huge exhaust by Lebrov basically saves the team from getting wiped there, but it's still a big win for PSG, getting the kill onto Sheo, getting the Dragon away as well to stop this stacking. Here you can see the ultimate ridden in by Jinjia, kind of forcing the rest of BDS back because they had a really nice flank, and Woody, despite having no ultimate, still goes in there, makes the hero play, and is able to get out, set up the Kennen. And like we said, there's the exhaust stopping most of the damage from coming through, and you can see maybe Lebrov would have died. Adam potentially would have been a much easier chase forward if all those health bars were either gone or down at, 10%.
Yeah, you definitely feel like with a Kai'Sa shotgunning into the backside there, if that slicing Maelstrom does all the damage it should have done, that's a very different story. But it's now 1-1, evens on kills, evens on Dragons, and it does feel like this game is just kind of scaling up a little bit more and more, but PSG know they have the tools available to them to make these plays happen. They could look for it once more again, potentially at this. Ooh, Crowny. Yeah, I was going to say, if he gets stunned there, he is almost certainly going to die, so has to flash away. Very unfortunate to lose his summoner there.
Yeah, nice little punish by Aji. Getting in, getting the lightning charges down, forcing the flash. He did not have his own because he used it in that dragon fight, excuse me. And here I gotta say, I do appreciate the aggressiveness out of PSG. Yesterday when watching CFO, that was a situation where maybe they just go for the Dragon contest and then back off, but PSG wanting more, finding their angle, and Aja being the main focus, having that Kennen picked early and kind of calling out Adam's champion pool, looking pretty good right now with a 40 CS lead, being able to get way ahead, able to have a big impact in these Dragon fights, and putting BDS now on the back foot after what was a really nice first blood in mid lane.
Yeah, it really was, and I think that Aja is kind of being able to, he's got the coal, stacked it off, sold it, got himself very, very far ahead. Now, Adam should be able to finish off this turret, so it should be a trade on either side. Both these teams tit for tat for the moment as they look to try and just gain as much resources as possible. And with PSG picking this early kind of, top jungle mid, very much in the first 3 picks of this draft, it makes sense that they had a lot of priority here. It makes sense that the top half of their map is the one that's getting ahead.
Yeah, I think so. I like the decision here. Getting Aja, getting the Rift Herald at the same time, most likely going to drop that one mid. BDS, like we said, going for more the cross-map play, knowing that PSG has overloaded the top side of the map. You can see the goal difference over time, powered by AWS. A nice recovery for PSG here, and I think it's going to put pressure on BDS around these neutral objectives to have better setups there where they're not all corralled on one side. They have this front-to-back team fight. You highlighted the flank ward that potentially Adam could have gone to. The impact of a flanking Scion is sometimes negligible. The rest of the team does not.
It's the deadliest.
Yeah, you do your ultimate, you miss, you go flying past, meet up with the rest of your team. Yeah, it can be a little underwhelming, and I think with the amount of poke available for PSG, it does put pressure on BDS to find their own good setups, because if you're just getting chunked out, forced back by Maokai saplings and ultimate every single time, I wonder how they want to approach these in the future if they are going to try to flank Adam next time instead.
I love that you brought up the flank and kind of how Adam's not really on that bruiser, as we mentioned earlier. He's on a tank that the impact is not as high as it usually can be. And unfortunately, I'm going to, kind of have to make a comparison, is that if you ever watch the LPL, if you ever watch some of the Azirs we have in the LPL, specifically Xiaohu, he's the flanker. He's the one going for the crazy plays. Yeah, but that's the kind of impact he has to have, because when the Shy was kind of on these things like the Scions and the Orns and stuff like that, it meant that he had to be that impact player for his team, and I feel like Nu kind of has to facilitate that role as well.
We haven't seen a ton of crazy Azir engages out of Nuke. He's more the sit back, use it to disengage, go for consistent DPS. Whereas, like you said, there's a lot of Azirs at Worlds waiting in the Swiss stage who are way more on the engager side, the setup. And if BDS are going to win the series, maybe that's the role they have to take, so that way Maple cannot just sit back and poke with Wako until they find their own time.
We've got a lot of time. We've got plenty of time. We actually have 45 seconds of time until potentially the next fight, as the Dragon will be spawning, but Start to see now where these teams want to try and highlight. I will say Adam not finishing up his first item really does hurt now, right now. He really would love just to have something to kind of go for. And I will quote Jamada on this, is that gold doesn't make a big difference. Item completions change how the game is played, and that's just kind of so key when you're looking to try and contest these objectives.
Yeah, I understand what Adam's doing here. You have double magic damage topside if the jungler ever comes up there, so you go your Merc Treads early, and then even grabbing the Negatron Cloak can help a ton to negate a lot of that. But does stop you quite a bit if you're not going to just finish that item first and you're instead going to go back to what I assume will be Jack Show. We'll have to see where he ends up going.
The Jack Show makes a lot of sense here just because of you'll stack it up fairly quickly and you'll be able to stay alive while you've stacked it up, so that's kind of the value of it. But Nuke now pushing up towards this top side. Do they look to try and burn down Aja before this really goes down? He will just clear out the wave, back themselves away, which means PSG get full priority on this bot side. They'll get themselves at the second dragon. There's an Ocean Soul. And I mean, look, we talked about how patient and calm BDS can be, but they seem to be a little bit behind on the plays right now, because that's a tower for a tower and a dragon. So PSG are already coming out on top of this trade.
Yeah, I mean, PSG definitely have a bit of a tempo advantage just from the fact that Aja will be uncontested in side lanes and can get kind of first move if he wants it. You can see there, BDS, without the Scion having his Mythic, perhaps is the reason that they are saying, okay, let's trade this. It's just second dragon. Absolutely fine to give this away and continue to scale. We already talked about their scaling options are incredible. Crowny and Nuke will both become monstrous threats in the mid to late game, and they did not have the easiest angle in there. So strategically, totally understand why they played that way.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for Adam on the spot side, but he is still a Scion, so you have to be very, very careful. They're taking a hell of a chunk onto that turret, though. Should be cleared out for now. Just about keeps it alive. But I mean, we saw the level difference now between Adam and Aja, excuse me. It just feels like it's getting more and more further and further. It's 50 CS now between these two. And yes, I know we keep mentioning it, it's a tank jungler. It doesn't make that big of a difference. A massive Kennen is still scary. It's not about the Scion at that point. It's about the Zeri and the Azir having to deal with the Kennen.
Yeah, and especially Labrov as well, being on point with your exhaust. If you're ever engaging and trying to set up and leaving your backline exposed and you're not in range to exhaust the Kennen, it can be a bit of a contrasting priorities where you're like, I'm the engage. I'm no longer there to peel if the Kennen goes in. So this is a lot of pressure on him, and I will say, I think Labrov has had an incredible tournament so far as I caster curse him.
Maybe caster curse him. Maybe was delivering Junja to the rest of his team, but no real carries there. It was the front line fronting up. The Jack Show finally finished up there for Adam as he finally feels he has some kind of presence within this lane. But, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think Labrov has had a really solid tournament so far, has really stepped up for his team when he needed to. I'm thinking more specifically, you know, kind of being that facilitator, being the guy who needs to step up. I always think of the Braum game he had just recently there. And it just felt like he was on point with every unstoppable, or unbreakable, every single time he needed to put down the ult to kind of kite for his team. See if he can do the same, because like you said, he's kind of got an unfortunately, you know, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't situation of I go in or I don't, and either way, I kind of screw my team.
Yeah, and I thought the Terror game yesterday was great as well, having that little splash of creativity in your champion pool, because he is a lot of the times kiting back with the Braum. His most played is Rakan, so he is of course great on this champion as well, and here it is. Primary engage, of course, you have Sheo if he can snipe someone out with an ultimate and make it easy for the rest of the team. Or if Adam can land a huge charge, great. But otherwise, it's probably going to be him having to start a lot of the fights off for the side of BDS.
Mark,
how are we doing?
With
2 kills in 20 minutes?
I mean, you're LCS, I'm LPL. This is slow by any standards.
0.1 combined kills per minute is the gameplay I like to see. Let me tell you, I'm a pacifist.
I know, but it's just...
Unless I'm playing...
I'm an entertainer.
I'm a murder hobo in games. In real life, pacifist.
Get those Baldur's Gate 3 going, you know.
No one is safe.
Everyone must die. Thank you for saving our village. No.
Do you have XP for me? You will die. 1 XP? Give it to me. I'll take it.
It's like that Megamind meme. It's just like, I wouldn't say saved. I would say under new management.
Yeah, exactly.
We wait to see what's kind of the next big play. But I mean, look, Baron is on the table right now, and it was something that BDS were willing to do the last time, as we see PSG finally pushing in to clear off most of this vision. There is a ward or two that's kind of hovered around this Baron pit, so there is potential to kind of spot out what is going on, but I don't think PSG are going to pull the trigger on this anytime soon.
No, I do like BDS kind of the way they've been moving away from PSG and some of the power positions that they've been in, I thought yesterday BDS flowed between their plays very well, and I think in a situation here with how much damage they have on Baron, they can look for situations where PSG falls asleep at the wheel. You can maybe get damage over the wall. Zeri can hop walls, Sheo can hop walls, and Nuke can, of course, hit free from behind. And so there are some tricky plays for BDS here if they ever choose to do it. And yesterday they showed a more aggressive look where they were willing to kind of flip some objectives, and maybe that's one of their avenues here. If they're trying to avoid straight up conflicts, maybe you can look for some tricky Barons, but PSG is kind of all over that right now, given that the next Dragon isn't spawning for another 45 seconds.
Adam has done 1,000 more damage this game than Crownie.
How?
Yeah, that's the maths in my head wasn't computing right there. So I did get a little tidbit as well. Crownie is 12-5 on Zeri for this. So, you know, big pogs. But thank you to Depa, our producer, for giving me that tidbit of information. But I mean, hasn't had the same little impact. He is 2 items now, so this could be one of those things where you bait out someone. You know, you haven't fought them in so long. Now all of a sudden they're huge.
Yeah, well, I think this is the time to actually start contesting objectives. Like we said, Adam completing his mythic item, getting some more in his back pocket, as well as the 2 item spikes available for both Nuke and Crownie, actually.
Nuke and Crownie coming in there. It's a 2.5 item Maple, though. This Jace accelerated shock blasts are smashing. Aja looking for something on the side here. They know he's there. The vision is being hotly contested. No one really has a full control, but it does feel like BDS are the ones more comfortable with this situation.
Yeah, starting this one up, Aja is in the bot side, flanking a little bit, but BDS have control of the Dragon right now, leashed down to that side of the map. And Lebrov is marking Aja, knowing that he needs to keep that exhaust.
Oh, it's going to be Adam dropping down his ultimate to get out of that particular fight. Now we might see the Dragon taken. That's going to be Soul Point now. PSG, there is the flank, and they knew he was there, but they couldn't stop it. The cleanse comes out after Sheo threw down the Glacial Prison. It's a fight on 2 different fronts. You can see Crownie trying to see if he can put down damage here on the backside, doing decently into Maple. Pew, pew. Can he do the Zeri things? Everyone's flashing away. Nobody dies. Mark,
just how I want it. No bloodshed on the Rift. The objective taken. Everyone disengages. I gotta say, Sheo has been incredible with his smites this tournament long. There's been very few contested objectives that he has not gotten. This time around, Junji is getting the better of him. That's 2 smites, I believe, that were contested, both going to Junji at these, and now the Dragon stacking is truly a threat to BDS on Soul Point for PSG, and a nice disengage by both teams. I like the way Crownie and Nuke both get over the wall where they are then safe but able to still DPS here. And while the exhaust was slightly late, it was not onto the actual backline members. So Aja goes in here, finds this kind of angle. Lebrov does not actually get the exhaust quite down initially, but Crownie's over the wall and safe. Nuke was also safe that entire time, and they're able to keep kind of DPSing here safely without having any threat onto them, and then Crownie hops back over the wall and forces PSG into full retreat mode. The problem is, when you do not fight consistently, flashes are always available.
Yeah.
And the thing about BDS's comp is it actually has more mobility built into it outside of the initial kind of engage from Wako pressing ult, but Crownie has multiple, you know, mobility spells in your E. Obviously, you can shift in on the Azir, but with all the flashes available, it's so easy for PSG to disengage once the fight no longer looks good. And this is actually when I want BDS to get more aggressive. While the flashes are down on Maple, maybe you can find a play onto him.
Yeah, well, we talked about the junglers. Our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, Junja versus Sheo, and so far Junja has had the winning of it. Aja has a flash. Wasn't going to go into Crownie there, but I mean, it is all about the junglers right now. And with so little kills going down, it does become about these big objectives. If you can get that smite down, you change the dynamic of the game, as Junja has, because he's now they're on Soul Point.
Yeah, exactly. You're on Soul Point. Also, it's an Ocean Drake, and so it'd be great for BDS against some of this poke and some of the saplings and the annoying things that can come through if you can actually go ahead and get some free regen when you get poked. Not the case so far, and if PSG is able to grab this last dragon, there'll be no more ocean spawning, and from then on, the poke will stick.
They've got a couple of dragons to get before then. 15 minutes or so of time before they would even really kind of go.
You know what? Yeah, let's sign up for it. Let's go with the 7-dragon dream. No kills. Just keep PvEing away.
This is like murder on me right now. It's like I'm building myself up like, here it is.
As an LPL caster, you got the scratch.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dude, you were supposed to be the Penta Penguin, or what is your title?
Yeah,
what is happening?
Penguin. I don't know, man, all right? I used it all, okay? I got 3 pentakills in a week.
You didn't save it for your best of 5?
Yeah. I'm sorry, okay? Crownie just had to get it beforehand. They were looking a bit shaky, you know? But I mean, there's still time. We are getting to the point in the game where pentakills are actually far more likely than anything, to be perfectly honest.
We are playing 2 of the leading champions all time with pentakills in competitive play. Zeri is not #1 yet, I don't think. I'd have to double check it. She might be. She might have overtaken.
She might be just below it, because I know Gala got a couple of pentakills towards the end of summer.
Kaisa was, I think, the #1. It was like 100-something pentakills across all pro play.
Yeah.
And then Zeri coming out, you know, years
Zeri
later, shot up the
yeah.
scoreboard. I think she's #2 now. Like Jinx is 3, I think. I forget the list. At one point, I looked it up because I was like, it kind of devalues pentakills on Zeri. Where you're like,
so many.
There was 1 week where there was just like 1 in every major region.
Yeah. Pentakill. Oh, maybe a pentakill happened here right now as we see Sheo gets a little bit caught up there. CC down. He's going to lose his aftershock and he gets taken down. Wako with 1 kill. There is the slicing maelstrom to try and slow the retreat. The exhaust comes out. Aja has to back away. He's taking a lot of damage and he flashes out. Adam is TPing in. He's going to ult straight away, you would imagine, to try and catch somebody out. He knows he's just too far away. PSG found an opportunity. They got rid of the jungler. But there's still not really an opportunity to go ahead and take that Baron.
No, PSG were feeling hungry there. If they get another kill or 2, maybe that is the Baron that they could take. But again, the nuke Azir just being so relentless with the DPS forces Aja back, chunks him out, gets the flash out, able to basically stall that Baron play with the chip damage that he returned to PSG. And so while it's a nice pickoff onto Sheo, and that is normally the most concerning member to lose around a Baron buff when the enemy jungler drops, they did enough to stop PSG.
See the team fight damage there, as you just mentioned, Nuke doing exceptional work there to make sure he was keeping his team in it. Adam TP'd in and did 0.
Kind of rude to put him on that graphic at all. That bagel is because he wasn't there.
Yeah, it feels like we should have something to kind of take away champions when they're not actually involved. But now we come back in or look for a fight. Aja, no flash this time, so can't really look to engage. Whoa, Junja looking a bit aggressive there and going to take a lot of damage. And they shotgun on the backside. Wako looking to take out Nuke. Good flash away from the Shurima ultimate, and now he's taking out Nuke. The ultimate from the Maokai keeps everybody in place, and a double kill for Wako as the Scion is now dead. Sheo running for his life. It's looking like it's going to be an ace. Not quite though, as you can see that the Sejuani should be able. No, he's been caught, and there it is. Ace 5 for none. PSG, they were just as bored as we were.
Wako had enough of this slow gameplay, just goes in on his own and breaks the ankles of BDS, mechanically outplaying them to win that fight, get soul point for his team, and set up the Baron now for PSG, breaking this game wide open.
Huge moment, and Wako deserves every single bit of praise right now, because Junja, he overextends.
Yeah, this is one of those classic Maokai, whoa, going on a ride. Did not mean to do that. And then this is a moment where Wako sees his angle, but with flash and ultimate still available for Nuke, it is a dangerous play to go for. Wako was getting super hyped up at MSI for a reason, arguably the best marksman player in the playing stage, showing it off here, making a monstrous play for his team.
I mean, huge moment there for PSG, and I mean, for BDS, it was just a really unfortunate moment there where Nuke and Crownie were separated, because that's why Wako felt so confident going for it. He goes, if I kill the Azir, no one is going to be able to hurt me. So he was right, and now BDS, they find themselves 7,000 gold down, an Ocean Soul, a Baron against them. They need to try and pull something out of the hat.
Yeah, and I can respect BDS showing up for these plays. I think there's been times where BDS is sometimes a little too inactive in the game, where they are not showing up to contest things and they're seeding objectives or they're looking at the enemy and not going in. This time around, honestly, it's mostly been both teams show up and PSG just plays the fights better. They were trying to be aggressive in the Dragon fight 2 fights ago, where they tried to chase down, but there's too many flashes to disengage from PSG. And I think it's a question mark of, do they have enough buttons for Adam to make plays? This feels like a composition that they are not able to quite execute the vision of.
I like that you brought up Adam as well, because it feels like this is just not what we want or what we expect from him in the top lane. Like, this is not how he performs. And even, we were talking about it in the Green Room on the day they lost against Team Wales, where it was like, even on the 1-5 Renekton game in Game 3, he still looked like the best player, and it was because he's Shunja going forward again. He's pretty tanky, and they're going to have to try and help him out. He will eventually go down to the tower. Crownie picks that one up there. Eventually, he does get punished for going a little bit too far forward, but the base has been cracked.
Yeah, fortunately enough, Aja was just pushing down in the mid lane there, able to break that one, but maybe Junjia should stop pressing W on Sheo when he has his Arctic Assault up. Not going to relieve quite enough pressure to force PSG back yet.
Whoa, Adam, he needs to try and make a play. He knows it. He tries to flash in aggressively. Nuke does eventually get away, but only to get hit by the Q, not quite going down. And you can see Wako kind of corralling them, pushing them in, saying, you can't fight me right now. I'll take a free in hit.
And look at the power of the Ocean Soul. Triple Ocean Dragon putting PSG back to full after stuffing that engage from BDS. There's no need for them to back off here, despite being
in a 4v5 situation. They grab the mid inhibitor on the tail end of that, and they're just going to keep pushing.
Keep going, get themselves the bot inhibitor turret, maybe the bot inhib as well. They go for a little bit more. They only have the Baron for another 30 seconds, so I imagine it's take this and get yourself back out, spend all that lovely, lovely gold. It looks like it's going to be exactly that. They're even going to buff up the minions in mid lane just to make Shado's life that little bit harder. But, I mean, BDS, I think it's fair to say they're in a hole.
They are in a lot of trouble. I'm glad that they were able to find a punish there. Adam went for a play. Flash Q on Sion is hard to pull off, though.
God loves a trier, you know? Like, you can't say he didn't try his absolute best. But, yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like a little bit of, I don't want to put too much, you know, words or feelings in anyone's place, but a little bit of frustration there. Adam kind of going like, we need to do something. I need to do something. And on a champion that's limited in terms of playmaking as Sion, that's all he's going to do.
Yeah, I don't blame Adam. Not like he's having a bad game as Nuke is in trouble.
Oh, Maple, blue suede shoes, just with the quick step.
Yeah, the back step there, baiting the ult out of Nuke, finds that kill, and that might be game, honestly. There are neutral objectives not for 2 minutes, and they have open inhibitors in mid and bot. They might just try and walk in here, guide these super creeps in, and use this Ocean Soul to sit on top of BDS and just chip these turrets down and force BDS to engage onto them.
Yep, Aja has got a stopwatch it. He wants to go super aggressive, Flash and slicing Maelstrom. He's going to TP, excuse me, he's not going to TP, and that's going to be Maple, the Spear of Shojin to kind of finish him off. There's even a GA onto Waka, so even if he goes super aggressive, I'm watching Junja to potentially be the one to go aggressively onto this, but they can just keep everybody here, keep everyone pinned back in their base. Aja's doing his work. He's taking away the turrets.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, even if you're not going to end the game here, it's keeping BDS corralled completely in their base. With that Shojin, they can go the double shock blast for acceleration gate. A little busted, I'll say that. And just poke down the next turret. You're going to have triple inhibs. Should you not be able to end the game immediately, you can at least use this pressure to fall back to the Elder spawning in Baron in a minute and a half.
Triple inhib. I don't even think they'd want to try and maybe even try and flip it. They want to try and end the game right here, right now. It's going to be on to Sheo and Adam, or Adam now gets caught. He's going to try and have to run away from this one here. I don't think he's got the health bar. He does not. He's fallen. And the rest should fall with him. They haven't got a mini wave just yet on that second tower, so they have to wait a little bit longer. Adam trying his absolute best, but the towers have gone down. The turrets are dead. The slicing Maelstrom is just perfect. And they're going to be able to kill the Crowny. Wacko goes wacky, but it won't change the result. He gets shut down. It's a nice little reprieve there for BDS and Crowny, but at the end of it all, PSG, they look comfortable.
They looked good. There was one punch that BDS snuck in